Hey friends, welcome to this episode of A Drink from Upstream. Today I want to talk to you about hope. Romans 15:13 says this. It says, "May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope." I want to talk to you about that verse, friends. Hope is something that is, it's like a bare essential of life. We can not go very far in life without hope. The kind of the irony of it is there's so much in this world, in this life, that drags us down, that could cause us to lack hope or to allow our hope to wane. There's just a lot of heavy loads, and we need God's renewed strength that comes from hope on a regular basis. So I've got this buddy of mine who is he's a great friend, and he's a hunting friend as well. He's one of my hunting buddies, and he and his crew have this practice that they do before they leave. Typically, we would leave camp in the dark of the morning, and so maybe an hour and a half before daylight, we're hiking out with our headlamps. And one of the things that they do before they leave is they set this little battery-powered star at the peak of their tent. And those batteries last all day long. And it's kind of an interesting little thing because on their way back, usually in the dark that night, there's a particular place that you get maybe a mile from camp, but still at least 1,000 feet of elevation above camp. They get to this certain spot where they can actually see the star. And that's why they call it the Star of Hope, because so often they're coming back totally exhausted. They're coming back with a load on their back that is a mark of great success, but they've worn themselves out. But that little star gives them a sense of, hey, I can make it. I can see where home is, and I'm going to be there shortly. It's the Star of Hope. And I don't know what the Star of Hope is in your life, but I hope that you have some things that you can look out to. Hope is something that you look forward to. Hope isn't something that you already have. Who hopes for what he already has? That's one of the questions posed in the Bible with regard to this subject. And so when we get to back to this verse, I want you to think about this. It says, and it's kind of a benediction, right? Kind of a prayer of benediction. The Apostle Paul is writing to the church in Rome, and he says, "May the God of hope." This is where our hope actually comes from. It comes from an external source, not something inside of us that we have to muster up, but it's an external source, and it's a person. God himself. He is known as or called the God of hope. And Paul's prayer is that God, this God of hope, would fill you with all joy and peace in believing. And so often I think we forget that portion of that text. We're filled with joy and peace in believing. So there's this sense of a necessity of holding fast to God, of binding ourselves to the Lord, of putting our hope in him, of trusting him, believing, so that, right? So here's the cause, so that, or I should say the effect, by the power of the Holy Spirit, notice where this comes from, the God of hope and the power of the Holy Spirit, you may abound in hope. So there is this God of hope, and there is the power of the Holy Spirit. And when we believe, we're filled with joy and peace, and we abound in hope. So whatever you're going through, and I know, my goodness, there's so many things right now in life that are hope drainers. My prayer is that you would grab a hold of this verse, that you would look to the God of hope, that you would experience the power of the Holy Spirit because you're believing. You're believing in this God of hope. Life can be dark. Life can be difficult. The load can be heavy and painful. But there is this star of hope, friends. There is this God who is the one who's, if you will, bringing you home. And so trust him today. Love him today. Let him fill you with all joy and peace today in believing. May the Lord bless you.